I was thinking about this last night, Dave, just this defense and going into the final game of the season. And I know it takes all 11. All these guys got to be on the same page. But if you could isolate one player and say, man, if this guy plays up to his potential, just give me a good 4 quarters, which we've talked about how hard that's been for this team. One guy on that defensive side of the ball that you could tab and say, he's going to give me 4 quarters of solid football, and he's going to make the biggest difference. Maybe it doesn't equate to a win, but he could have the biggest impact. Who is that?
Well, I mean, I do think it's, and it'll sound boring and rote because we've been talking about it all year. But to me, their best player is Devin Witherspoon. And he's out there 100% of the time. He plays a bunch of different spots. He makes plays. Remember, he had a stretch there for a while where he was just standard making 3 plays, knocking down 2 passes, getting a sack.
Even this game, he made a couple of plays.
Yeah,
he did have some missed tackles. He was certainly part of the problem, but he still made some plays where you went, yep, that's that guy.
Yeah, he came off the back end on a blitz, just like they'd like to send him all the time, and it was a runaway, and he ran the guy down, got a tackle for a loss. So, yeah, I mean, I feel like that guy he makes plays all over the field. I think it took him a while to kind of get back into it, but yeah, I mean,
is that even a fair question? I know one guy can't alter the fortunes of a team, but who would have the biggest impact? You just feel it most.
Don't you feel like he's the guy that is most likely to pick off a pass?
Yes.
Remember the San Francisco game where he's running downfield and he's not even looking back at the quarterback. He's looking at the receiver and he just puts his arm up.
Yeah.
Like he just has a sense for it. And, and I think he honestly, in his brain, he calculated, I see how fast he's running. I see where his hands are. That's where I'm going to put my hand up. So, yeah, I do think he's probably the guy that can. But, after that whole running debacle, I mean, I'm tempted to pick a linebacker, that it's a guy like Bobby Wagner that's just going to come downhill and run, stone a guard 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, get off the block, and make a tackle. And this team that's coming up here, they can run it a little bit. So yeah,
ran it a bunch last week, didn't they?
They sure did. And I think we talked about this yesterday a little bit, but Philly, I believe that was the one thing on their defense that they were pretty good at, is stopping the run. And yeah, they weren't getting the sack totals that they had in years past, and but they were stopping the run, and this team was able to run on them. So yeah, that does bother me. Like I said, I'm tempted to pick a linebacker, but the thing is, I think what it needs to be, and this is why I'm kind of hesitant to pick Devin Witherspoon, is because he's not a very big dude. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it needs to be like a wrecking ball sized guy, like a linebacker, or maybe a defensive end like Boye Mafe. And Boye is one of those guys, I feel like he's still kind of getting the game, but they need somebody who is just pissed off and is going to just like take a play off and go smash a guard or something like that. They need to set the tone on defense, especially against the run, because that was just a. I mean, I just can't wait till this week's over and we can stop talking about this Pittsburgh game.
Yeah. Well, I think we're in good company with our praise of Devin Witherspoon, and we've talked all year about him being hands down, really no debate to it, the best player they've had on defense.
Yeah, and he doesn't come off the field.
Yeah, I mean, he's that guy as a rookie, which I still find amazing. But KJ Wright talking about that very thing, saying Devin Witherspoon being the guy that makes the defense run.
He's your tone setter, and on this defense, there are certain positions that I like. I love Big Cat. I'm a big fan of Big Cat, Leonard Williams. I'm a big fan of Jan Reed. I'm a big fan of how Love has played throughout the year. And to answer your question, it's not enough. It is not enough. When I look at the production, let's just look at you want to go back to numbers, go back to the stats. When I look at the production from certain positions, like, come on, man. I need more. Give me more on the football field. Don't be a cardboard cutout. I see a lot of cardboard cutouts out there just simply taking up space.
Yeah, so and I haven't heard that one. Thank you, KJ, for bringing that one back. I remember that phrase being used.
Cardboard cutout?
Cardboard cutout, like a guy that's just going to stand there like he's the replica of a linebacker, but really it's just a cardboard
guy just
picture.
Standing there, taking up space.
Well, we had a guy that used to say, Rusty Tillman used to say postage stamp, and that's where you get glued to the blocker and you never get off the blocker, but I love that. But, yeah, I mean, I think he might be kind of saying what I'm saying is that it shouldn't be that, though, right? I mean, Devin Witherspoon is a rookie. He's the 5th pick. He's fantastic. He's not big enough to come up and, take on a lineman or blow up a running play. He's kind of one of those guys that's going to just get you in the backfield, get around your legs and tackle you. I feel like it needs to be somebody who can just be physical and come down. And that's where I think they're missing Jordan Brooks. They missed him last week. So, it's a good question. But to me, he is still the guy that makes plays.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say him.